Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to a recap of Survivor 43's episode number 6. All right, we had a lot happening in this particular episode. A lot of discussion, a lot of strategy talk, so let's get right into it. Now, before we do that, let's talk about what happened last week. If you remember, Coco, the Blue Tribe, who was so strong for so long, but Coco went to Tribal Council, lost their second member. This time they lost Geo. Yeah, a little bit of a surprise, but Geo went home, dropping Coco down to 4 castaways only. Geo's gone. His best bud on the tribe, Ryan, certainly now seems to be the outcast in that particular group, which normally is a pretty bad position to be in. But does Ryan's strength and challenges, his ability to maybe help this tribe win some challenges, does that keep him safe for a little bit longer? And even more important, does it even matter if, as the teaser from last week seemed to suggest, maybe we have some kind of merger or something happening this week, this episode? Well, we're going to talk about it. But certainly in terms of Coco, they were the team to beat. Now, not so much. Now they're down to 4 tribe mates. So with that being said, let's talk about what happened in tonight's episode. Day number 12. These castaways have only been on this island for 12 days. It seems like a whole lot longer than that. Coming from a Big Brother player who was in a house for 93 days, 12 days doesn't sound long at all. But if you're out there not eating food, exposed to the elements, I'm sure it's a long time as well. But anyway, day number 12, we see, and then normally after tribal councils, the first thing you see is the aftermath as the tribe's getting back to camp and everything. We don't even see that at this particular time. As soon as the episode starts off, we see the remaining 4 Coco members the next day receiving a note saying to drop their buffs, pack their things, and prepare to move to a new home. Excited to say the least? Yeah, very much excited. They're aware that merge, or at least something approaching that, it has gotten here. They've reached a milestone. Regardless of your position in the game, you've reached a milestone, which has to get everyone a little bit excited. So they're very happy. Now, Ryan in particular, being that he was a little bit of the outcast, is probably even happier than the others on this particular tribe that the merge is coming when it is. He's telling the cameras that he thinks it's perfect timing, and not even so much because he feels like the lone person in this tribe, because he doesn't feel the attachment. Now that Geo got sent home, Ryan doesn't really feel a tight bond with the others from his tribe. So he feels like he can tell everyone else that he's the low man on a totem pole, therefore he's a free agent, that he'll vote however maybe they want him to vote. He's not going to have an alliance, a loyalty to Coco get in his way of joining up and working with whoever can get him farthest in the game. So he's actually very excited at the direction the game's heading right now. It does appear a little bit after that we see a couple of boats approaching. And it turns out that we've got the Coco tribe with 4 members, the Vessi team, red team, with 4 members as well. Looks like they're both getting to travel to the Baka tribe, which is the only tribe that still has 5 teammates left. I'm not sure if that's why they were picked to stay at home, to use their beach as the home beach, or that maybe they just did the best job of building their shelters. We know Vessi, the red tribe, didn't do squat in terms of building shelters, so everyone ought to be happy that they're not moving over to the red tribe. But yeah, they're all coming to visit the Baka tribe instead. And they're all excited, hugging each other, introducing each other, best friends forever, right? The way they're doing, that much more relationship building that's suddenly happening. It's one thing to build a relationship with 5 other tribe mates within your own little group, but to suddenly now be exposed to 13 people in this much bigger tribe, there's a lot of talking that goes on, a lot of people introduce yourself to learn secrets from, to share secrets with, etc. etc. And sure enough, we almost immediately see Noel talking to Owen. Owen's on the Baka tribe, and Noel's telling us, says, "Look, I've got the steal of vote power." And my first thought was, why would you tell Owen that? I always say secrets are power, secrets are gold. Why would Noel tell Owen that she had the steal of vote power? But then it dawned on me. If you remember, I think it was back in episode 3. Owen and James and Noel were the 3 players that were picked to travel to we'll call it the Risk Island. The island together where they had to either risk their vote or not risk it at all. And at that point in time, Owen and James both decided that they wanted to help Noel. Her tribe was up for up for tribal council that evening. And so Owen and James had both intentionally chosen not to risk their votes to guarantee that Noelle would win the advantage to help her out. Well, so now it makes more sense. Realizing that makes more sense that she's told Owen at this point in time. So here's the question. That bond that they created earlier, the three of them, is that going to work to their advantage? The fact that they were willing to risk or maybe not take advantage of the possibility to gain more power in the game to help Noelle. Is she going to remember it? Is it going to help them as they go a little bit further? Well, we may find out tonight. We'll find out as we progress through the rest of the season as well. But it does start bringing together all, because remember, we had 3 separate groups of 3 visit that island, have a chance to bond with other people from other tribes during that point in time. Now that they're all together, it may not just be the tribe relationship, the tribe dynamics that hold people together. There could be some other bonds that we're going to be looking at as well. But we do have, again, Noelle telling Owen about that particular power or advantage. And from that, we kind of segue into Owen talking about kind of representing us as the viewer, saying, man, there's so many people. I know there's a lot of powers. There's a lot of advantages. There's immunity idols out there. He's saying, I wish it was back on a TV set that you could just see everyone's name and see all the listings of what powers and advantages they have. He said, I wish I could see that right now. And while he's saying that, they've got Owen's name listed at the bottom on the screen, and next to it saying no advantages. Yeah, Owen doesn't have one. Now remember, Owen knows that Janine has an advantage. In fact, Owen starts going through all the advantages that he does know about. He knows about Noelle's steal a vote. He knows that Janine has the immunity idol because he overheard them talking, so they chose to spill it with him. He's aware pretty much. He doesn't know as much about the Cocoa tribe, the Blue tribe, but he's made a lot of assumptions and knows a lot about the other tribes in terms of who's got what kind of advantages. So Owen is definitely paying attention. Always important in the game of Survivor. So he is mentioning that. We also have Ellie. She told Owen about her. Ellie did a lot of talking in this episode. Ellie told Owen about her steal a vote, but she's also realizing that Cody has the bead idol, the immunity idol that was created by borrowing beads or getting beads from everyone else in your tribe. Because Noelle mentions that Cody made this cool little palm frond hat out of everyone's beads. Ellie immediately knows Janine had to do the same thing on their tribe. So she understands at that point in time that Cody has a similar idol as Janine does. And I think she tells Janine, she says, I don't even think Noelle knows that that's an idol, but we know because we had to do the same thing. So yeah, a lot of secrets are quickly getting exposed as these groups come together. But with that knowledge that Cody also has that immunity power or immunity idol, Ellie and Janine are now talking and saying, look, maybe our 5-member Baka tribe needs to align with the 4 members of Vessi, the Red tribe, work together and go after the Cocoa tribe. Cody's part of the Vessi tribe. He's the only member. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But they sorry, lost my train of thought here. She's saying maybe we should align with the Vessi tribe and go against the Blue Cocoa tribe. Remember, we saw that a little bit earlier. Was it just the last episode or two where we actually had Vessi helping Baka win an immunity idol when Coco was still 6 players strong? So these 2 tribes have already worked together a little bit, and now we've got Ellie and Janine saying the same thing. We need to work together. We also have Ellie. We have Ellie talking to the cameras. Ellie's talking about how good she's realizing she is at the game of Survivor. It's easier than she thought it was. She just feels like she's a natural for playing this game. Don't ever say that. Yeah, don't ever say that. You are risking so much karma coming around and biting you in the rear when you say something like that. Ellie has vocalized that she feels that confident in playing the game. We'll see what effect that has as we get through the episode. So with all that being said, we've got 13 tribe mates all together, kind of, and we're on to our first challenge. Well, it turns out that's an immunity challenge. I guess you could call it a reward challenge too. Maybe the biggest reward of all because it helps bring you into the tribe. No, Jeff is quick to tell us that no one's made the merge yet. That hadn't quite happened. That's why you're not getting buffs yet. But the competition itself is going to let at least some people go ahead and be welcome to the new tribe to actually make it into the merge itself. So what's a comp itself? Let's talk about that before we talk about the implications. Well, the competition involves splitting into 2 teams of 6. Remember, there's 13 castaways, but 2 teams of 6. Each team has to remove a lot of coconut debris and sandbags that are covering up a sled. Once they have that all removed, pull a sled out of a small pit, and then go across a course that has various stations with pretty large, like 3x3 type crates at the various stations. They have to go from station to station gathering their crates. Once they've done that, the crates then have to be stacked similar to a puzzle in a particular order to create a staircase that lets one castaway reach up to the top of the pole, retrieve a set of keys. Once they get the keys, they then can jump down. They have to run up a large ramp, curved ramp, a picture Ninja Warrior type ramp. Run up a large ramp. Once the entire tribe has made it to the top, at that point, they can then use the keys to unlock some puzzle pieces and solve a word puzzle. Whoever does it first wins this particular competition. And what a reward this one is. The 6 people who finish the competition first, whichever tribe finishes first, they get their buffs. They've made the merge. They also get a merge meal as a congratulations for making to the next point. And they're safe from tonight's tribal council, the most important part of all. So the winning tribe, there's a lot to be fighting for the winning tribe. The losing tribe, unfortunately, goes to tribal. Someone's going to get voted off. It's going to be the last person to head out the door before we have the official merge taking place. And here's the other kicker. Tonight, everyone's going to tribal council. There's going to be 13 people there, 13 people voting. It's a lot of different dynamics taking place at tonight's tribal council. Now, here's something I thought about as this all occurs. Think about Gabler. And I'm amazed that this was never talked about in tonight's episode, but think about Gabler. He has an immunity idol, but it's only good for one more tribal council. Remember, that was the whole discussion when Janine went through his bag looking to see what the instructions were. It's good for one more tribal council that he attends, which means tonight. So there's 2 things that's going to happen. If Gabler's on a losing team, he could use it to protect himself to guarantee that he makes it to the merge, is safe this evening. If he's on the winning team, he could give it away to someone that maybe he wants to protect. Wouldn't that build up some strong relationship and assistance, you would think? Yeah, it seems like Gabler's in a pretty good position because of that. That idol, unless I'm missing something, that idol goes away after this episode, after this tribal council. So if it's going to be used, it has to be this evening. We'll see how that works out, see if that takes place. All right, so the final twist before we go into the competition itself. 13 castaways, 2 tribes of 6. Someone's going to not get the chance to compete. And it turns out they're drawing rocks, as we often see, to determine who the two teams are. You draw a red rock, a blue rock, or you draw a gray rock. Did they paint it, or they just leave the rock as is? Maybe they just left it as. Anyway, one person doesn't draw a colored rock. Whoever that is actually gets a pretty interesting choice. They don't compete, but before the competition begins, they get to decide whether they want to align with the blue team or the red team. If they pick the right team, and that's the team that wins the competition, wins safety for the evening, wins the merger meal, makes it to merge, they get to join. They get all the same benefits. If they pick the other team, if they pick the losing team, they're going to tribal council and they're at risk for getting sent off the island, just like the other 6 members are. So pretty important decision that is to be made. So with that being said, everyone draws a rock. Who gets the gray rock? Noelle. Yeah, Noelle draws the gray rock. Can't tell by her expression if she's happy or not so happy. I mean, really, it gives you a lot more control of your life than otherwise. So I think it's something that you should hope for in most situations. But so Noelle has drawn the rock. Before we talk about who she aligns with, let's talk about the other 2 tribes. On one tribe, the blue tribe, we've got Gabler, Jesse, Ryan, Janine, Dwight, and Carla. And then on the red tribe, we have Cassidy, James, Ellie, Sammy, Owen, and Cody. Now, I look at these two tribes, and sometimes you just see one tribe that looks like they're going to dominate. I don't really see it in this particular split. It seems like they're pretty evenly split in terms of strong competitors, physical competitors, people who are going to make a difference in these competitions. I don't see a whole lot of division or differentiation between the two tribes in terms of how I think they'll do in the competitions itself. So they're pretty matched from that standpoint. Now, from a tribal standpoint, from a past who have you been aligned with type situation, we look at the blue tribe, and the blue tribe has both Jesse and Dwight, who are both Vesey tribe mates with Noelle. So if she goes to that side, she's got at least two other people that hopefully she thinks she may be able to depend upon. If she goes to the other side, the red tribe, she only has one other Vesey member, and that's Cody, who's on that side. Does she go to the side where she could be part of a group of three within a larger group of seven, or does she go over to Cody's side and support him in becoming the second member of Vesey on that particular side? Now, from Cody's standpoint, it'd probably be nice to have someone else so you aren't the only person. But it's Noelle's decision to be made, and it turns out that Noelle picks the blue tribe. I don't blame her. I'd probably do the same thing myself. It gives her a group of three Vesey members within the overall seven members on that particular tribe. So Noelle has joined forces with the blue tribe. She's still not competing, but she gets to cheer them on and benefit if they win. So with that being said, let the competition begin. And it's a good, I like this competition. We see a lot of obstacle course type competitions, a lot of competitions this season. They're finishing off with puzzles. So there's a little bit of a formula to these, but they do a good job of making just enough difference every single time to make it always seem a little bit fresh. And this one's no different. The competition is actually pretty close to the first half while they're moving their sled, gathering up their building blocks. Now, we do see at one point while they're starting to stack their building blocks onto their stairs, Carla has hurt her hand on a crate. It's a little tough to go see exactly what happened. It looks like she probably got it pinched between two crates, or a crate landed on her hand. Not sure. What I do know is it put a pretty good cut on a couple of her fingers, and she's bleeding all over the place. Carla is definitely has some injury from this thing, but she's telling everyone else, go on, don't worry about me. She's trying to do what she can do to assist as well, but that's got to be tough, especially a competition like this. From pure just competitive standpoint, you got blood, slippery, yeah, it makes everything a little bit tougher. But she's doing everything she can to continue to compete all the way through. Red ends up being the first tribe to build their steps and get their keys. And when it comes time for this curved slope, James and Owen are quickly up the ramp, helping the others up. I think James was the first one up. He just ran right up that curved ramp, grabbed the rope at the top, and was good to go. Owen was right behind him, though. I didn't necessarily expect to see that from Owen as well, but with the help of those two now at the top, they quickly get the rest of their tribe up. The blue team having a few more problems getting their tribe up the ramp. Just not quite working. Gabler can't grab hold of, I can't remember who made it up first on their side, but Gabler's having some issues. Carla's having some issues as well. Again, it doesn't help when you got blood and you're trying to grab a hold of someone and hold on while you get that kind of slippery grip. But eventually the blue tribe makes it up as well. The blue tribe, it took a lot of teamwork. It definitely was not just one strong person pulling everyone else up. It took them forming basically a human ladder to get them all up, which, long term, I think that kind of teamwork is going to pay off. We'll see how it works out. Of course, this is just, as far as we know, just for this one competition. Then when they merge together, they're all back to 13 again. But still, when you work together, even for one competition, it seems like maybe you can build a little bit of a bond there. But eventually the blue team does make it up to the top as well. So we've got both sides trying to solve the word puzzle against each other. This is a hard puzzle because this isn't just puzzle pieces fitting together. You actually have to spell out a phrase itself. And it's fairly 4 or 5 words. I didn't write down what the phrase was. And if you haven't watched the episode, of course, if you haven't watched the episode, why are you watching the recap? But it's okay if you are. But it was a fun puzzle to watch. It certainly wasn't the easiest puzzle to solve. We did have a lead change because even though the red team started solving the puzzle first, the winner of the first competition leading up to the merge, we'll say, is blue. Yeah, blue came from behind. I wasn't sure they're going to do it while they're trying to get up that ramp, but they've come from behind. They've solved the puzzle. They're incredibly happy with each other. Noelle picked the right team to support because now she is safe from tribal council, along with the other 6 members of this new blue tribe for this particular competition. I guess I should call it tribe because again, it's just this one event, the blue team. So they are safe for the competition itself. Keep this in mind. Gabler was part of the blue tribe. So Gabler's on the winning team. He's not going home this evening. What does he do with that idol that he's got? We'll see. All right. Meanwhile, on the losing tribe, we see when they get back to the blue tribe goes off for their big feast. At least they didn't have to eat their merge feast in front of the losing team. That's always tough to do. We've seen that every once in a while, but not this time. They get to go off on their own and eat. So meanwhile, we see the losing team back at camp. Ellie's feeling bad that she couldn't do the puzzle. She had volunteered to be one of the people putting the puzzle together. But I gotta say, this being a word puzzle, everyone was really helping. Maybe one person or 2 people were doing the stacking, but everyone was trying to identify the phrases. I don't think anyone but Ellie is really holding it against her in terms of the competition itself, but she's not doing fantastic. The big deal at this point in time is who's going home, who's at risk. Now there's only 6 people at risk of going home. 3 of the 6 on this particular team are former Vessi members. I mean, not former Vessi members, are former Baka members, the Yellow Tribe. Cody is the only Vessi member. And then meanwhile, we've got James and Cassidy representing Coco. Now, in a normal situation, if this was a new tribe of 6, you'd say Cody is at maximum risk of being in trouble. Now, remember, Cody does have an idol, but beyond that, he would be at risk. But keep this in mind. It's not just the people from the losing team that are voting tonight. It's all 13. So you still may be able to count on your teammates to help you a little bit. But certainly, in terms of people who are at risk, the 3 Baka members and then 1 Vessi member, and then 2 are Coco. Because there's a lot of discussion about these teams working together, as we'll find out. Almost immediately when all 13 are back to camp together, James has grabbed Cody to talk strategy with them. Now, James, everyone's going to talk strategy. During tribal council, they talk about how crazy it was. But the fact that James grabs Cody in front of everyone and says, "Hey, James, do you mind coming over? Can we talk for a little bit?" I thought that was a little dangerous to do. Yeah, hey, I'm going to go get some water. Do you want to come with me? You could probably be a little more subtle with it. People still know, but you could still be a little more subtle. But James isn't subtle at all. He just grabs Cody, says, "Hey, can we go talk?" And so they go off to do that, which immediately raises the alarm bells for Ellie and Owen. They're talking about it. They want to tell Coco, the blue tribe, which consists of James and Cassidy, in terms of who's vulnerable. They want to tell them that Cody is the target and make them think that Cody's the obvious choice. He's the only person, the only Vessi member that's eligible for being sent home. They want to tell the Coco team that, but then turn around and go after Coco instead, which is James and Cassidy. And they're talking about splitting their votes between the 2 of them to ensure that one or the other goes home. Now, remember again, Vessi helped Baka in a past competition. So it really had seemed earlier that you could have the red team and the yellow team working together against Coco, the blue tribe. And that's exactly what Ellie and Owen are basically proposing at this point in time. And sure enough, right after that, we've got Cassidy coming now to Ellie and Janine and saying, "Look, let's us go against Cody." Now, she phrased it as "let's us girls all go after Cody." She didn't necessarily phrase it as all of us go after the blue team, but it still works out to the or not blue team. Cody's on the Vessi team, the red team. But Cassidy is promoting going after Cody, the lone person from Vessi who is vulnerable. And Ellie is now talking to James as well and telling James, saying, "Hey, I want to work with you and Cassidy. Let's vote out Cody." That was her plan, but beneath the plan is her true plan to actually go after James and Cassidy. But she's telling them that Cody's the target. Yeah, y'all are good, Coco. Y'all, no problem at all with y'all. We're going after Cody. The reality is the Cassidy and James are her target. So she's telling James that. James is saying, yeah, okay, sure, as long as it's not us, sure, we'll go after Cody. But immediately James is then telling the cameras, saying he just doesn't trust Ellie. He thinks there's something else up. He's just not sure that's actually the game plan. And he's right. He's absolutely right. Meanwhile, this is before the tribes have even come back together. There's so much taking place last night. The winning team is having their merge feast. Ryan's talking about, it's interesting. Ryan said, look, there's 7 of us right here. What's to keep us 7 from just being the final 7 and making a new alliance that's just us and making it to the very end? Well, that's a fantastic idea. If everyone was brand new to the island, you could probably make it happen, but there's too many people with too many tribal alliances that already exist, and people aren't going to abandon their past relationships to join this new tribe with Ryan or this new alliance. Now, remember, Ryan had already said, yeah, Coco, I'm not so attached to them anymore. I'm happy to go wherever. He's proposing that everyone go wherever and form this new alliance, but immediately we have a lot of people down the camera saying, yeah, I'm not buying into that. That's not going to work at all. So that's the first wrench in the plans. The second wrench in the plans is Gabler, who's feeling very comfortable now that he has immunity for the evening, or safe for the evening. Gabler, he's not so worried about past tribal alliances and loyalties, because he's throwing Ellie under the bus. He's saying, hey, Ellie looked through my bags on day 3. I don't have any problem voting her out. I'm good. I don't care about our past tribal connections. I'm good on voting Ellie out, which is a little dangerous to do, even more so with Janine also there enjoying the feast, because Janine and Ellie, they're like this. In fact, Janine says, I don't know why he's saying that, especially knowing that I'm here and it's going to get right back to Ellie as a result. Gabler doesn't care. I think that's the key. Gabler just doesn't really care if Ellie knows or not that he's targeting her. He is ready for her to go. He does not want her on this island any longer. And Janine is not happy at all that he's basically turned on his Baka tribe. All right, so at this point in time, we finally get everyone back together. I jumped the gun a little bit, but that's all right. Everyone is back together at this point in time. Noelle is mentioning to Cassidy that they're targeting Cody, but she's also then suggesting that in reality, all of Vesey and Baka could vote together against Cassidy and James, basically create a split vote, which is what Ellie had suggested as well. So there's that game afoot. Dwight, though, is telling Ellie, saying, look, Ellie, you need to no, I think Ellie's the one that mentioned this to Cassidy. Is still trying to sell a plan that we want to vote out Cody, but in reality, she's planning to vote out James or Cassidy. But Dwight is now warning Ellie, saying, look, you need to be careful, because while we had our merge feast, Gabler told everyone about your bag search, that you searched through Gabler's bag. He's throwing you under the bus. He's ready to get you go. He's targeting you, so you need to be careful, Ellie. And Ellie's not having any of that. Ellie immediately is confronting Gabler, saying, look, I never searched through your bag. I don't know why you think that's the case, but I never searched through your bag. And she didn't. It was not Ellie who searched the bag. It was Janine. Now, Ellie knew what Janine was doing. She was kind of standing guard when it happened. So it's not as though there isn't some guilt from her, but it wasn't her going through the bag. But that's not the way Gabler heard it. And so she's confronting Gabler about it. And Gabler is saying, look, Sammy and Owen told me right after it happened that you went through my bag. So why would they be lying to me? There's no way. So much for unity from the Baka tribe. So much for Baka strong, right? Now, Gabler's throwing Sammy and Owen under the bus. He's already upset at Ellie. Now, Ellie's going to be upset with Sammy and Owen as well. Confusion and chaos within the Baka tribe. Gabler then comes back. She's upset with him, and Gabler's saying, look, you burned our bridges. You burned our alliance, not just searching through my bag. But he says, Janine has the idol, right? And she says, well, yeah. He says, well, you didn't tell me that either. Now, remember, Gabler knows that because Sammy told him that Janine had gathered the beads to make her alliance. And so Ellie didn't know that Gabler knew that until he mentions it to her. And he says, you didn't tell me about that either. You obviously don't trust me, so why should I trust you? At that point, I think it's when Ellie says, well, I got to go talk to some other people. these folks, they are not happy with each other. They're not willing to work with each other at all. So at this point in time, yeah, it doesn't end there. At this point in time, Ellie starts complaining to Sammy and Owen, saying, look, Gabler told me that y'all are the one that told him that I looked through his bag. And Sammy and Owen are saying, oh, why would he say that? Well, is he trying to do something? Well, look, we'll go clear your name. We'll help you out. Let's get this all cleared up and everything. So they're basically suggesting to Ellie that they're on her side. Well, we know that the guys were already working together. Sammy had already said that he'd be happy to work against Ellie and Janine whenever he had the opportunity. The only reason it maybe didn't happen earlier is because Sammy had found out that Janine now had this immunity idol. But they're telling Ellie, like, we'll take care of it. I don't know what's going on. We'll get it all cleared out and all of that. But they also are asking her, saying, so who do you want to vote off this week? And she's saying James. It's dangerous. She thinks that she's working with them. She thinks that they're on her side, that they've got her back. Not so much. So it may be a little dangerous to be mentioning other targets as well because of that. Because here's the thing. Sammy and Owen are in a little bit of a pickle because they did tell Gabler about Ellie. I think they said Ellie was looking through her bag, even though it was Janine. They've told her that. So now they've been caught up in a little bit of a lie. Do you fess up and move forward, or do you just cut loose the person that's accusing you of something and kind of bury the body before the evidence gets found kind of situation? I don't know. It may be a situation where it's easier to cut someone loose and have to deal with the chaos that's been created as a result. They now see Ellie as a threat. And I think it may be Sammy who says, Ellie and Janine, they're so close anyway. This is just another reason that maybe we need to be looking at sending Ellie out the door as well. So we've got that. And then it still doesn't end there, my friends, because now we got Gabler telling Janine as well that I know you've got an idol. You're hiding stuff from me, and about the bag search. And he's asking her, saying, if Ellie didn't look through the bag, it was you. Was it you that looked through? Well, Janine's not fessing up to anything. She's avoiding that whole discussion. And at that point, we now have Janine telling Sammy and Owen and Gabler that they need to stay Baca strong. She had pulled Gabler off. I think Ryan was there at the time. She said, look, I need to talk to Gabler. Grabbed Owen and Sammy and said, look, we've got to stay Baca strong. I get it. I get that you're upset, with Ellie and all of that, but we need to stay strong. We didn't win all these competitions just to protect our numbers, just to fall apart in the very first vote. We have to work together. We can deal with this stuff later on. And Gabler just doesn't seem like he's really invested in that, or he's buying into it. Here's the thing, Gabler. You got to stay flexible. Use past experiences to see who you maybe can or can't trust, but you got to be looking forward more than you're looking back. And I'm not really sure that he's doing that right now, because he does not seem willing to consider that at all. But eventually Sammy and Owen talk to him, and it seems like maybe he's convinced that maybe for the sake of unity, he'll stick with Baca for a little bit longer. So we'll see what happens with that. It does seem like, because of everything that's happening, this is all in the course of a single day on the island. Seems like at this point in time now, the Vesey tribe is now targeting Ellie because they have heard that she was targeting Cody. Funny how that works, right? Cody's the only person from Vesey who's eligible to be sent home for tonight. They have now found out that that's who she wants out, even though she's really going for Coco because she's throwing out this shell game of going after Cody. Vesey's heard about it, so now they're deciding that maybe they need to target Ellie as well. And then to throw another wrench into plans, Ryan is saying that Ellie is actually targeting James and Cassidy. Just throw everything up in the air and see where it lands, right? Everyone's pointing fingers at everyone at this point. So now James and Cassidy know that in reality, Ellie's coming for them. So she may have Vesey mad at her. She may have James and Cassidy and the Coco team mad at her as well. Everyone seems to be a little upset with Ellie at this point in time. And to add a little more wrinkle to all the wrinkles we've got throughout the evening, Gabler is now telling the cameras that maybe Sammy and Owen and Janine think they've got Gabler fooled, but he knows what's going on. He's not going to do that. He's voting out Ellie no matter what. That's just the way it is. Gabler's the most stubborn person on the entire island. We've got Janine telling Ellie that she convinced Gabler to stay Baca strong, that he's not going after Ellie. that he's going to vote with the rest of Baca. And Ellie's saying, no, I'm not buying that. I'm not trusting Gabler at all. She's right. She's absolutely, she knows that she can't trust him, but he's got Janine fooled. He doesn't have Ellie fooled at all. But Janine is saying, look, if it comes down to it, if it really looks when we get to tribal like you are the person that maybe is susceptible to going home, I'll use the idol I've got. Now, remember, she's got the beat idol. I'll use that idol on you to protect you, Ellie. That's the one strength that these two have, is they're tight enough. The threat of using the idol to save Ellie could potentially help save her. And Janine's doing just that, saying, look, I'll use it on you. If I need to, you're not going anywhere. So with all that going on to tribal council, 13 people. It's a huge tribal council. And I got to say, I really have no idea how this tribal is going to go as we go in there. It seems like Ellie could certainly be a target, but Cassidy and James on the Coco tribe, if Vesey and Baca still want to work together, they're easy targets to send out the door. There's a lot of uncertainty when you have this many people talking this much strategy all at once. Talking Jeff Probst, everyone's talking about how crazy the game talk was today from start to finish. Carla is acknowledging that there's so many idols and advantages at play in the game that makes it just that much more confusing. And on that note, it comes time to vote. I say everyone goes to vote. Everyone goes up to the voting booth. We've got a lot of people who aren't able to vote this week because of their advantages, the risking their votes, everything else. So we've got several people who can't vote, but everyone goes, casts a vote, or at least visits the voting booth. Before it's time to read the vote, Jeff asks, are there any advantages that anyone wants to play? Any idols that want to be played? No one says a word. Really? Everyone is that comfortable about their position in the game that no one was willing to take a little bit of a chance. Now, before we got to the votes, I think it was Carla that had mentioned it, said, sometimes you can show support for someone else based on whether you play something, you don't play something. Are you willing? I think Cody had said it as well. Sometimes, are you willing to stick your neck out for someone else to show some loyalty as well? Well, no one showed any loyalty in this particular situation because there are no advantages being played, no idols being played, including Gabler. As far as I know, his idol has just gone away at this point in time. I really thought maybe he could use it to build some support with someone else that maybe he didn't feel super tight with, but doesn't happen. There are no idols played whatsoever, so it's going to come down to straight up votes. And as the votes are read, it starts off very interesting. A vote for Ellie, a vote for James, a vote for Owen, a vote for Cassidy. First 4 votes are 4 different people. When you have this many people coming together at once, there's just a lot of confusion. Who knows who's going to vote which direction? So the first 4 are 4 different votes. After that, not so much. We get another vote for Ellie, another vote for Ellie, another vote for Ellie, and another vote for Ellie. Yes, Ellie has been evicted from the island. I'm telling you, when you talk about how good you are at the game, at least when the editors want to show it on the episode, that's not ever a good sign for the person who's saying that. Ellie is gone. Gabler is smiling. He's very happy the way things went. Ellie's got to be chapped, not only that she's going home, but that it was kind of at Gabler's hands. He wasn't a deciding vote, but it's got to chap her that he's still there and she's not. He's certainly happy to have that happen. Janine is in shock, open-jawed. She understands now that she's lost her best friend of the island. She did not play her idol that could have been used to save Ellie. Was it because she wanted to save it for herself, or did she truly not think that Ellie was going to be the target? I tend to think it's the latter. I tend to think that she really thought Baca was going to vote together as a unit, and that was going to be enough to potentially go after probably Coco team instead. But Janine's not happy, and Ellie is gone. So who voted for who? I didn't write down all of them, but basically Gabler voted against Ellie, just as he said he would. The rest of Baca all voted to send James out the door, so they voted against the Coco tribe. Carla voted Owen, and I'm not really sure why she did that. I won't find, but hopefully show that next episode. That was kind of an oddball vote, but Carla voted for Owen, so just a little different situation. But again, everyone except Gabler was going after Coco, and Gabler's on his own path, as he said he was going to do. So the theme of tonight, as Ellie leaves the island, has her torch snuffed out, the themes of the night: don't ever tempt the survivor or the Big Brother gods by saying how easy the game is. Ellie did it and got sent home. Amira did it in the last season of Big Brother. She immediately went home. Don't talk about how easy the game is, or you're just sealing your own fate. Item number one. Item number two: when you're thrust into new situations, being the biggest mouthpiece of everyone on the island may not be the best situation in place. I don't think Ellie's idea was a bad idea, but the fact that she was the one vocalizing it and she was the one campaigning so much for it, you just don't know enough about who you can trust and who you can't. And pretty soon word got back to everyone about what Ellie was up to. Ellie. Her name's the one being mentioned. It's okay to be you want to be part of the bigger group when you have a merge like this, but you may not want to be the biggest mouthpiece in the group, because it can create a target on you as well, which Ellie learned. So that's item number two. And item number three in this season of Big Brother: don't piss off Gabler. It's that simple. He's got to hold grudges. He's going to be hyper focused on those who he thinks has offended him. Don't get Gabler on your bad side, because you'll probably pay the price for it. There you have it, guys. Incredible amount of conversations of strategy as everyone went back and forth. Hard to even keep track of all of those. Now that we've had the first vote, we're going to start seeing some alliances, some loyalties develop. We now have 12 tribe mates. They're all in one single big tribe. Next week, everyone is up for to win immunity idol. Everyone is up to get sent home. There's a lot of advantages and idols in play. We'll see how it comes into play, but we're going to start seeing everything flesh out a little bit in terms of relationships, loyalties, etc. So we'll start figuring out. This one was a confusing night, but at the end of the night, Ellie has gone home, and we're down to 12 tribe mates. Guys, it was a fun one. It's such a great season so far. It's a lot of fun. I will be back again next Wednesday to recap episode 7. At that point, we'll figure out who the next unfortunate castaway is that heads off the island. But until then, my friends, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.